So I have sewn my bag shut, going down, across, over on both sides. I'm going to set my exterior pieces aside. Now I'm going to work on the interior. I interface them.
New York.
This is what gives your bag the body it needs and the structure. So I'm going to fold. This is the fabric. This is where I cut the triangles out. Now I'm going to go on the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm going to fold right sides together, right sides kissing, and I'm going to sew a line from top to bottom, back stitch on all pieces. I'm going to do that on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more for my exterior. So sew all of these pleats first. Well, before you sew the pleats, I'm sorry, you're going to want to make your pocket if you want to make a pocket. If you don't, then just sew the pleats. Do you want to make the pocket? This is hard to see. You're going to put an interface, because if you're putting heavier objects, you want it to be able to be a thicker pocket. You're going to sew across the top from one side to the other. It doesn't matter if this is 1 piece or 2 pieces. Just sew across the top, and then we'll flip it over. So I've sewn across the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm going to flip it. I flipped it, and now I'm going to stitch it across the top all the way to the end. So I stitched all across the top. I suggest you do it however close to the edge or far away as you want it. It's all personal choice of whatever you think looks best, just like strap size, if you want it thicker or thinner. So do whatever looks more appealing to you. This is a tip I have to give you. Working with leather, fake leather, vinyl, sometimes canvas, these thicker materials, or like a material like vinyl, you're going to want to use probably a 4 stitch length, which means the stitches are further away from each other, because if they're too close together, the stitches are too tight and too close, your fabric will start to rip, because those holes that are penetrated will just rip between them. So when you fold your pleat together, make sure you have a long stitch width. Alright, so I have sewn all of my pleats together, so it looks good if you push it out like that. Of course, it looks silly on this side. Now, as long as you're consistent with how you do each one of these, like use the same amount of stitch length from, like, look, use the same stitch length away on each piece, and that way it will look really nice. Now I'm going to put right sides together for the outside of the bag. So I'm going to put right sides together. I'm going to pinch these corners. I think this is what they call nesting. Push them opposite ways, and the material won't be too thick to sew through, and it'll look really nice together like that. So pin going all the way around, or clip, and then again do the same for this side. You're going to nest them, so one, it's kind of going to look like a star or an X, so they'll fit right next to each other. So make sure these are lined up first, and then pin the rest of your work after these edges are pinned right together. Alright, I clipped all of these pieces together, and if you can see up close here, they're folded opposite. One's folded that way, the other's folded away. One's folded towards me, and one's folded away from me. So you want it to look like that. Now we're going to go back to the pocket piece because I was forgetting about that. For our pocket piece, since we made it super duper long, we're going to fold it, find where you want it. See if I can hold this over here. Alright. I want mine to be about here. So from here, I'm going to fold it down. So flip this down. Even it up straight. Sew across the bottom once it's straight. I'm using my other hand to hold my phone. So sew across the bottom after it's straight. And then I'll show you how to flip the pocket up and then sew across the bottom again. So I've sewn the pocket down, and then you're going to lift it up. Make sure it's straight along the top how you want it to be. Press this with your fingers, and then you're going to sew. Feel where you can feel or measure where this raw edge is, which this raw edge is right there. So I'm going to sew across the top right here. That way you won't see the raw edge. It'll look pretty. And then you're going to sew down wherever you want your pockets to be. So I usually want 3 pockets. Sometimes I make a pen pocket. I'm going to sew down. And then I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to go up. And then sometimes I'll do 1, 2, 3. It was like a foot, like a little pigeon foot. I'll show you how to do that, and that strengthens the pocket on the top if you use it a lot or have heavier items. When you sew your pocket, don't start at, this is the bottom, don't start at the top going down towards the bottom, because if you watch my finger as it goes, you see it pushes that fabric down, and it can go over your stitch and just look like that, and that's not really what you want it to look like. You want to see your stitch line. So you're going to start from this part that's sewn down and go up towards the opening. So start down and go up towards the opening, then just go a hair over and then go back. Then you can go down. Usually the thread will hold it in place from sliding anymore. So if you see, I'm starting to make the foot. There's one goes off to the side, one down the middle, and you're going to do one more off to the side, which I just tilt my fabric, like go straight, then and back stitch, then flip it a little bit, switch, go straight, back stitch, turn it a little bit again, straight, back stitch. So now I'm going to, I just turned it around, I'm going to come down the other side. So it'll be, look like this.